really
approach of it.
Yeah.
All right. Having a bit of a feel-good podcast today about just the impact that people have on our lives and how we have an impact on people's life, and we take that responsibility. It's serious. It's a big responsibility for somebody to trust us with their next career move.
Yep.
Making a career move is quite big. I was speaking to Taylor this morning just about, have we changed people's lives or have people changed our lives, like the feel good side of recruitment, which sometimes you think is few and far between. But they're there. There's some really, really great moments that just underlines why we do what we do.
Yeah.
And I was talking to her about when we had the conversation with Vilmi from Sappen and speaking about parents. There was one thing that she mentioned in that podcast that just sat with me, and that's that from Sappen's perspective, they always assume that people, parents in their case, are doing the best that they can at that moment. And Brene Brown talks about this as well in her books, I think one of the books, where she talks about people are just doing the best they can at that moment. And she speaks about that person, that idiot, that when you're on the highway cuts in front of you and you get so angry, and just maybe take a moment and think about, what's going on in their life. There might be something going on in their life that they're just distracted. Correct.
Yeah.
So that just maybe giving people the benefit of the doubt. It's difficult. That is not an easy thing to do, and it's not easy to sit back and go, they're doing the best that they can, but you think, if I could slap you now, I would, because you're just being ridiculous.
Bring them back down to earth.
Correct.
Yeah.
We
actually had a candidate a couple of months ago that we couldn't bring back down to earth.
No, it's like, okay. And that's okay as well. I think it's recognizing that, okay, I've done what I can, and not all people are everybody's people.
Exactly. And that's what they need out of life for this season. So we couldn't get them, we couldn't give them what they needed.
Correct. And that's okay as well, because, and I think it's recognizing that. And then we just spoke about stories and how our recruitment is very much the way we approach it is to rule people in instead of ruling out.
Yeah.
And that, I think it's challenging on both sides, either way that you do it, but it's having the conversation, giving somebody the benefit of the doubt. And literally yesterday, Taylor had an experience with a candidate where the initial conversation or the initial interaction was like, oh man, raw. And then you were pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, my gut was saying all things. I'm not sure. I don't know. I think this could be a waste of time. But again, me thinking, I didn't rule him out. I ruled him in, had the conversation. My mind was blown with the conversation that we had. Actually, it was really nice. It was a solid conversation as well. Like, we created a connection within that conversation. I learned about his family and all of this, so then I can represent him in a way that I'm representing him as a package, like him and his son and mum and wife and everything. So yeah, I was pleasantly surprised, and I'm submitting this person to our client, and I'm very excited about it. And all because I ruled him in rather than ruled him out, I would not be sitting here with a really, really good candidate that I think our client is going to love. So that the approach is a lot different. And sometimes, like you said, it could be good or it could be bad. But I think from a mindset point of view, if you go in thinking that it's going to be bad, it most likely is going to be bad. But if you go in giving people the benefit of the doubt, being like, I don't know, this could be a really good conversation, you'll get a good conversation out of it. And I don't think we should call it a waste of time either. if it doesn't end up to be a good conversation, I think we should think of it as, well, that's a new connection that I've made for a role that this person could be perfect for later on down the track. So it wasn't a waste of time. It was a new connection. It was a new conversation, and I've learned something. Or most of the times I get off the phone with people who they're not suitable for the job, but I'm like, actually, I learned something from this person. I didn't realize that this was that, or this was connected to this, or this company merged with this company. So yeah, I think, that approach to it and ruling people in rather than out gives you a lot. Once you step back and you think about it, it might not be in the time. You could be sitting there going, oh my God, this is a waste of time. What am I doing? I should be doing this, this, and this. But then by the end of the conversation, you're like, oh, actually, that wasn't that bad.
Yeah. And that's probably 9 out of 10 conversations. You do get the one where you put 100%. The phone down and you're like, nah, just no.
Yeah.
But again, then timing is not right for that person with the role that we have. I have a beautiful story, and I might have told this story before if people ask me why I do what I do. Many years ago in Australia, there was a candidate. I had a position with a national company, and they were looking for somebody with really specific experience. And we were struggling to find a match in terms of location, role, and salary expectations. Like most companies, they were looking for the best person, but weren't going to pay at the best level. So it's trying to manage that. And I had a candidate apply that had not worked in Australia. They were from overseas, and but great experience, great communication skills, just a really, really good candidate. And I rang the client and I said to him, I think you need to meet this candidate. It's his first role in Australia, so he is a little bit flexible on salary. But I think it's going to be a candidate that will be with your organization for a long time. I spoke to the candidate about the salary side, and he was comfortable in just securing his first position in Australia. And the client called him for an interview. He couldn't get to the interview with he wasn't 100% sure where it was. And I said to him, that's fine. Come to the office and I'll drive you to the interview. So I actually drove him to his first interview. I sat outside the office, waited for him to finish his interview.
Wow.
Got in the car, drove him back to the train station, and the client rang while we were in the car saying, oh, we'd love to see him again. I just need to introduce him to other people. I said, well, do you want to go? He's like, yes, absolutely. So we set up a second interview right there and then. I said to him, well, let's just do the same. Just come to my office. You know where it is now, but come to my office and I'll drive you again. So I did, and drove him to his second interview, waited, and then as he got in the car, the client rang and said, yes, we'd like to offer him the job. And I said to him, do you want the job? Like, it's yours. Do you want it? And he's like, and this was November, end of November that year. And he said, absolutely, I can start on Monday. And I'm so excited because I would be able to buy my 5-year-old son a bicycle for Christmas this year.
Oh, I've got goosebumps.
Yes. And that
just got goosebumps.
True story. I'm still in contact with that candidate. He's no longer with that same company. He'd been with them for years. He's now doing exceptionally well because he's an exceptional candidate. But just in that moment where I could see a 5-year-old little boy getting a bicycle for Christmas, that makes it worth it, 100%. And picking up that phone and telling the client, you need to meet this guy or you need to meet this girl. So there's these moments in our life, in our recruitment, that you just go, oh, that was just meant to be.
How did that happen?
How did that happen?
And it's magic.
Yes.
And like you said, like yesterday I went to a breakfast, our Women in Business breakfast, and it was all about purpose. And that is our why. Like that is our purpose. Because if we get it right, it creates magic. And our purpose is genuine, organic connection.
Correct. Yes.
We don't force anything, and everything always works out. And whether you don't know it then and there, like when you look back, you're like, actually, no, that couldn't have happened any better.
Yes.
So yeah, again, with that, the purpose, but also, Suki, that client trusted you enough to take your
into
advice.
yeah,
Which is
yes,
that's huge.
yes,
And that again, that's why we do this, to create that genuine connection so our clients trust us that we're doing the right thing by them.
correct,
110%.
correct. And yeah. So if ever I think, oh, why am I doing this? It's so tough. You're
fine.
struggling through. I think of that 5-year-old boy that got a bicycle for Christmas. Yeah, and money being sent to parents that are overseas because they're not working, and
Yeah.
it's bigger than us. So it's actually, we've got our purpose, we've got our why, but we also know that it's a privilege. It's a privilege to be
100%.
in this position, to
We're
work with people.
Exactly. And we're helping shaping someone's life. I got a call. We placed a candidate, or it would have been at the end of last year,
Yeah.
in a really lovely company. And as soon as he went to the interview, he's like, I need to work here. Like, I need to work here.
This
And
is
he
my
did.
place.
He got the offer. He was stoked. Got a call after his first day. And he's like, you've already changed my life, Taylor. Like, you don't understand. And I was like, whoa, okay, it's bigger. And like a month later, got another phone call. Hey, how you going? Good. Changed my life. Just remember that. You've changed my life. Me and my wife's life, you've changed it. So it's having that huge impact that you kind of sit back and you're like, whoa, okay, like I actually change people's lives for a living.
Yeah. How
Pretty cool.
how amazing. Pretty cool. That's
Yeah.
it. That's a great one to end on. It's
It's a
pretty
vibe.
cool.
It's a vibe, changing people's lives. But
Ah.
again, like, we would love to
Mm,
change everybody's life if we
mm,
can, but
mm.
that's the goal.
Yeah, exactly.
One person at a time, changing lives.
That's it.